Shiv Narayan, greetings to you. So good. Grateful for your presence here. So as human beings on Earth, what is like the first step in how we should, how we should behave, and what kind of actions should we take in terms of just being human and being here on Earth?
Right. So the thing is, when any being takes the human body on this plane called Earth, there are certain kinds of attitudes expected. Okay. And that very first attitude is that you will have to be grateful for the Earth, because Earth has provided you this human body. It has come out of the Earth, right?
Yes.
And all the food you need to survive, to exist, will come from the Earth. So
Yes.
it's like the big mother, the great mother.
That's right.
For a human being here, so having proper respect towards Earth, Mother Earth, is very, very important. Okay, that's the first attitude expected from a human being. Secondly, there are the 5 elements. Earth is one of the elements, and there are 5 elements like air, water, fire, sky, which are also required for a human being to exist, right? You'll have to breathe the air, you have to bring the water, fire for all kinds of things. All of these elements, they have to be respected too.
Yes.
Okay. So this respect is the first most important thing. This attitude of respect. And this is what should be taught, when a child is young, when you first get consciousness,
right,
that you are on Earth, and this is the fact, right? And this provides for you, and that's the great mother. So I think if this education was there, a lot of the problems which are there right now in the world will vanish, people not acting in the right way in so many different ways.
Yeah, I mean, beings could cultivate this type of attitude and this reverence for the earth, then that would automatically stop a lot of actions that would be harmful to the earth and harmful to the beings themselves for performing those kind of actions.
Yes. So, and along with earth comes cows, because most people don't know that cow is a small fractal of the earth.
Right.
So the same respect has to be for cows also. So like cows were made as a fractal of the earth because it's a big place.
Right.
But cow is a miniature form of it. And it has been in all cultures, like the ruler of the sign Taurus, the cow and the bull. Right. And the same sign Taurus rules over the earth. So in various ways, different cultures try to make people understand, which was all coming from a Vedic source, with that Jyotish, that the sign Taurus is related to cow and earth. So that respect of earth, of cow, of nature, of the 5 elements, that's the first attitudinal thing required of a being in a human body. You take human body here on this plane called Earth.
Yes, and it's a very like natural attitude and a very natural approach, to have.
Yeah.
In which things have become so unnatural. I don't know. It's just gotten very far away from that at this point.
Yeah, it is very natural, and it should be very natural, and that's why common sense is gone as well, because with that naturality comes common sense too.
Right.
So now you have thousands of rules and laws for human beings, man-made, and still they can't make anything right. Right? They make thousands, 100,000 more laws every day. Still nothing works, right? Because there's no naturality and common sense. Okay, so that is the first thing which has to be done. So this has to be taught and inculcated, and it has to be understood that it's a basic necessity. It's a minimum line, It's not a maximum thing. It's a minimum line, It's a basic minimum line which is required to be human and not do actions which will cause you harm as a being. in the future.
Right.
Because if you don't have this, anything you do will cause you harm. Here on
Yes.
earth, anything you do, any action you do on earth will cause you harm without this attitude.
Yes. Yeah, if you don't get the first step right, then everything else from there is going to be
Falls
wrong,
down.
right?
Yeah, it falls down. So it is so important. It's the basic bottom line, what we call bottom line.
Yes.
Bottom line. It's the bottom line. It's has to be met. It's the basic minimum standard. However, people want to understand it, because in these days people understand basic minimum standards for like industries and workplaces and all kinds of things. But
Right.
this is the basic minimum standard for being on earth in a human body.
Yes.
And it applies to everyone who takes up this human body. So,
Right.
so this is the most important
And
thing.
expressing that type of attitude and that reverence, basically, what does that look like in terms of your actions? That just means kind of like moving toward a natural, like choosing natural things to either eat or dress with, or what does that respect look like in terms of action?
First, beings can just go on the earth barefoot
Yes.
for 5-10 minutes and
Yes.
just talk about the gratitude they have for us, right?
Yes.
Like basic first step, for
Right.
people of now, that would be good enough to start. After that, you start doing more and more things in the future,
Okay.
but
Yes.
everyone can start from that basic point,
That's right.
of showing gratitude
Yes.
to earth, standing bare feet, connecting to it. And
Yes.
at the same time, expressing your gratitude verbally, internally, in all ways. So
Right.
that's the starting point. And afterwards, beings will, once they get on that natural road, more naturality will come and more common sense will come, which will guide beings in the future.
Yes. Yeah, that type of action starts to change the being or change us as beings from the inside
Yes.
out. So that's really,
Yes.
really beautiful.
Yes, yes. The more one does it, the more people
Yes.
will start appreciating sunsets and other wonders of nature, and slowly, slowly it will build up
Right.
in many ways where you live your life. It'll affect all areas of your life, the
Yes.
naturality and common sense. So,
Yeah.
but that is the starting point. What I would suggest to people
Yes.
to do,
Well,
which
this is
anyone can do that.
yes, right. It's applicable to anyone and everyone, which is so
Yeah.
nice.
Yes.
Well, Pete, this knowledge is so foundational, and it's really wonderful that we get to hear this, because you don't really hear this from anywhere else. So, really grateful for your sharing this with us. It's really wonderful, Pete.